Yeah. No, I think having those buckets of time for yourself, or what it is, for me, it's it's making coffee in the morning.
Yes.
And I don't want to be rushed making coffee. I
Hmm.
don't want to throw it together. I don't want to be listening on a call while the coffee's brewing or
Yes.
whatever it is. I want to wake up. I want to get dressed, whether it's a
Hmm.
workout beforehand. Winter time, not so much, because the South African
Yeah.
blood has yet to acclimate. And anything below 55 is Arctic for me. So getting out the door when it's freezing is a little bit challenging. So for me, I like to get going, get started, get dressed, get ready for the day, and then make my coffee. And it's sort of like, oh, I'm going to grind the beans, I'm going to brew it,
Yeah.
going to drink it, and then I'm going to sit down, and then I'm ready to go. I don't know if that's the espresso or my mindset, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I over the summer and during the pandemic and everything is when I really honed, talk about morning routine. I really honed in on my routines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one of the things, and no matter what that routine looks like, um, it's always important that at the very least, I feel it's always important to do something, to start the day by doing something for yourself. There's a lot of times when yeah, as entrepreneurs, or even like I said, in corporate America too, where as soon as you wake up at 5 or 6 a.m., yes, we grab our phone, but we immediately go into our work emails, and we're responding to these work emails or whatnot. I had I had a personal um, goal or plan, if you will, to not check my work emails before 9 a.m. I would check my personal emails or whatever,
Wow.
and it's not, but like not my work emails before 9 a.m.
Yeah.
because as soon as I wake up in the morning, I like to get ready and go to the gym and get a workout in. And I don't want to see something in a work email that will throw off that rhythm. Not to
So
say I wouldn't make
important.
it to
So
the, yes,
important.
yes. And it's not to
Yeah.
say I wouldn't make it to the gym, but I don't want to be pissed at the gym, or
I
anything
know
like
your
that,
gym is like such a sacred
It
environment, or such a
it
sacred
is.
practice, that I know emails have thrown me off. I know emails have
Yes.
thrown off my day while I'm still still horizontal. I've got one
Mental.
eye
Yes.
open. The screen wakes me up because it's so bright, and it's
Yes.
thrown me off.
Exactly. So like over the summer when the weather is warm enough,
Yeah.
I'd wake up in the morning, and especially when gyms were closed, I would go on a
Mm-hmm.
4-mile walk. It takes me a
Yeah.
little over an hour. I'd in that time I'd listen. And my transaction coordinator that I work with, she, her and I kind of got into a rhythm too. But I would go on my walk, and during that walk, I'd listen to a podcast or an audiobook, um, something motivational or whatever. I'd clear my mind. So yes, it's inevitable that work things will come to mind. But what I do is I compose a draft email to myself. So as things come down, I start to put in a draft email at the end of my walk. I'd email that to myself. And that ends up being my to-do list for the day.
I
And then
love
I
it.
just kind of cross-reference with everything, but it's out of my mind and I'm not consumed with it during my walk. I'm getting my fresh air.
Yeah.
I'm doing something, and I'm just at peace.
Absolutely. I love
Um,
that. We had many
yes,
conversations on those walks too. And I think
we
one of those
did.
walks, this podcast came out through one of your walks, one of my walks.
Yes,
We do love our walks. Oftentimes you'll catch me
yes,
when I'm walking on the Beltline,
yes.
or
Hmm.
I'll call you walking on the
Absolutely.
Beltline. And there's a lot of power in those walks. I like that idea where
Hmm.
you said, you recorded a voice note or something that then
Yes.
becomes your to-do list of the day, because it
Hmm.
activates those walking, showering, whatever that may
Yes.
be, activates a different part of your brain. Now, there is scientific research to this. You're going to have to put this
Hmm.
in the appendix, that it does activate a part of your brain that allows you to have these different thoughts and creative ideas.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm going to add that. So, um, but yeah, and then then I get back home and have either whether it be my coffee, my breakfast or whatever, and kind of get into the day. But like I said,
Yeah.
that first, and this can work no matter what time of the day that you wake up. This you
Yeah.
don't have to wake up. I don't wake up at 5 a.m. anymore. I haven't done that in a couple of years now.
Yeah.
But whether you're
Same.
waking up at but whether you're waking up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever, just doing something for yourself.
And to that point, I
Start that
want to
day.
say, don't get caught up in that 4 a.m., 5 a.m. trap. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of advice out there, a lot of terrible advice out there that tells you get up at 4 a.m. and you will be the most successful CEO entrepreneur out there. That
Yeah.
might not work for you.
No,
You need to find what works for you. You might crash at 3 p.m., but you're actually working with the West Coast and and it's only lunchtime for them and you're not your best. You need to find what works for you. If it means waking up at 7 a.m., great. If it means, waking up at 4 a.m., good for you. I fully support what works for you, but there is not one prescriptive answer for
yes.
productivity.
If I can wake up by 7:30 in the morning, I feel like I'm golden.
Yeah. Listen, you
But
find your gold. You
yeah,
find your gold, baby.
but my thing too is trying not to wake up. I don't set an alarm either.
Really.
So it's really what my body is thinking
Mm-hmm.
and feeling and everything. But
Yeah.
I'm somewhere between that 7 and 8 7 a.m. and
Okay.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
But as soon as I wake up, then I'm jumping or whatever. But in my calendar on my phone, well, actually everywhere, but in my calendar, I have from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. as a workout.
Mm.
Now, I don't necessarily work out for an hour and a half, but that hour and a half window is what I dedicate to working out so that I'm done working out and back home by 9 a.m. and then I can really get the work day started
Yeah. Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think that's so important to have that time set aside. And also your evening. For me, evenings are very important to
Yes.
decompress. The time for me in the evenings to slow down, end the workday, because I will sit at
Yeah.
my laptop. Now, I'm not the
Yes, she
type of
will.
person to I'm not the person, I just I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
Yes.
I don't have a TV anyway. But the point is, I don't take my laptop into the bedroom. I go to the bedroom to sleep.
Sleep. Yes.
And I don't take my laptop to the couch. I don't take it elsewhere. I take it to a coffee shop pre-pandemic days.
Yes.
But I like to have my space to work. And
Mm-hmm.
I have made a concerted effort now during pandemic not to eat at my desk as I once would. So I have a
Ah.
very, very clear separation. Now, when we live in smaller quarters, I don't live in
Mm-hmm.
I live in an apartment. And
Yes.
so I have to separate those different areas of where I work, where I
Mm-hmm.
sleep, where I eat. And I think it's small little mental touches that have helped in
Yes.
so many different ways. So I don't eat dinner at my desk. I bought a desk specifically so I don't
Yes.
use my kitchen counter to work and to
Yes.
eat and to have conversations with. So I've now separated that, and things like that are important for me winding down in the evening as well, being able to say, hey, let me close my laptop
Mm-hmm.
and I will make dinner, I'll eat elsewhere, and then I'll sit on the couch. But before bedtime, I have my cup
Yeah.
of tea every
Yeah.
night before I go to bed, and I'll wind down. I don't watch TV. Yes, I am guilty of scrolling through social media and getting lost somewhere on the web,
Yes.
but I then, turn it off and I'm off to bed. So it's not really scientific, but those
Yes.
tiny little adjustments to your day to day
Mm-hmm.
are really important.
They are. Everything you just said, I'm the complete opposite.
I saw you squirming a bit.
Everything you said, I'm the complete opposite because I live in an apartment too. And even before I moved recently, I I didn't have a dining room table or sometimes I eat at the at the bar, in the kitchen or whatever, but I would actually kind of blending a couple of your things together. I did eat at my desk, but when I'm eating, I'm not working. That's when I
Okay.
cut my
Okay.
mind off, and like maybe I'll watch some news clips, or, random articles or something. Like that's when I'm doing my own personal stuff at the
Mm-hmm.
computer. But I'm not eating while working on emails or working on a project for a client or anything like that. So that's
Yeah.
kind of, that's the caveat, for me.
Okay.
Um, I do bring my laptop into the room, um, but part of that too, which it's circumstantial, because I'm in a and actually this would bring up a great point too. I live in a household where there are two home-based businesses being ran out of it. So the bedroom is my office half the day. The living room is her office and workout studio half the day. So that in of itself is just a little unique, but finding those routines that work for
Mm-hmm.
you, that you can still be successful, you can still be productive, and you can still find time and make things work for you. Um, but I do at night, I kind of have a wind down thing
Yeah.
too. Another thing that I put in my calendar, I first of all, I love my calendar because I I don't do anything that's not on my calendar. So like I said, my workouts are on my calendar, my meetings, all of my appointments. But every night, um, at 9 p.m., I don't always take advantage of it, but I have a reminder to send my to-do list for the day. So say in the evening and different things come to mind, kind of like that to-do list in the morning. If I don't
Mm-hmm.
write it then, or just you find yourself in the evening, just a bunch of things coming to mind that you just want to get out of your head, writing that to-do list that night before and emailing it to yourself. So if I have email it to myself at 9 p.m., so in the morning it's already there. And that's worked out a lot of times, especially when you're in this creative space
Mm-hmm.
in your business, when you're either you're branding, or you're exploring new opportunities, or just so many ideas are coming to mind,
Yeah.
um, for your business. And that's when I was really using that, and it's like, oh man, let me look into this tomorrow, let me look into these type of Facebook ads, let me
Yeah.
look into this stuff, let me look into, you know um all, LinkedIn stories, or whatever it may be, just
Yeah.
let me,
I love it. I
yeah.
think I I do the same thing, but I have it on a piece of paper. So I have a notebook, and I'll just show you because I have it right next to me at all times. So I have
Yeah.
this wire-bound
Yes.
notebook, and I use one page a day.
Oh,
And
okay.
the night before, I write, and it's quite become quite pedantic about this since I've started using this. And
Yes.
I write the date at the top and all my things to do. I
Hmm.
check them off, just like, listen, for someone who works in technology, this is stone age, but it works for me.
Yes.
And I write everything down. So I have the dates. I also track of just a couple numbers
Yes.
every day, not every day, but I write the date up there.
Hmm.
If I'm, tracking weight goals or whatever that is, I'll
Yes.
write that number down. I'll write my credit score down.
Hmm.
And I will write, at one point I was writing down credit, like debt
Yes.
as well. Um, and I would track those numbers and having them
Hmm.
right there. That's what I would focus on. Now, these are
Yes.
all sorts, could be whatever they are. And I'd write it
Yes.
down. But before the next day, I look what I haven't done, and I turn the page, write tomorrow's date on it, and everything
Yes.
that's outstanding and what's going to be done tomorrow. So when I come and I
Yeah.
sit down, I'm not trying to think about, just like you reading that
Yeah.
email, what do I need to do? Where do I take this? And how do I get started? So that is just one
Exactly.
of those little rituals, taking time for yourself to be able to position yourself for the best point of productivity for the next day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in some ways, we hear this a lot, and where they say your day starts the night before, and it can seem cliche,
Yeah.
but I think it's still very important to remember that, to talk about that,
Mm-hmm.
because um, if you can set that evening or that night, just, you know, if you can set that night before up um, just right, and for you, um, it works out perfectly. And that email that I send myself, the kind of go hand in hand with you, I print it off in the
Yeah.
morning. So I don't even just, I print it off because there's something about physically crossing something off a
Mm-hmm. There
list.
is. There
Yeah.
is. It is
I'll
such a
print it off, and
mental.
I'll sit it on my desk, kind of
Yes,
like
of
you do.
course.
And I'll
Yeah.
kind of go through it and organize through it and do it that way. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think those are some great ideas and everything. So yes. Wow, we've talked about a lot today.
We have.
We have.
I hope certainly helpful, especially in the new year, but even just a reset on a week-to-week basis or a month-to-month
Yes.
basis. You don't have to wait for a new year to do any of that.
You really don't. You really don't. You can start whatever you need to start right now or tomorrow, but no, you don't have to wait another 50 weeks or 48 weeks or whenever you're listening to this episode into 2022 to get started. So, but no, I thank everybody for listening. I hope something was said that helps you, opens your eyes, and kind of gives you a little bit of insight, not only to ourselves, but even your own world too. And and I'm so looking forward to the rest of the season with you guys too for On the Verge podcast. So wherever you're listening from and listening at, I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.